There's a moment in every person's life when they quietly whisper to themselves, "Something has to change." But for some, that whisper becomes the beginning of a story they never thought they'd live. This is the story of a man named Adam, and how a single decision made in the middle of his worst year changed everything. Adam wasn't lazy. He wasn't unmotivated. He wasn't someone without dreams. He was simply tired. Tired of waking up every morning feeling like the world was moving forward while he stood still. Tired of the jobs that never lasted. Tired of the promises to himself that he broke more often than he kept. And the truth was painful. Adam was 29 years old, and he felt like he had nothing to show for it. No savings, no degree, no clear path. Just a long list of failures stitched together by hope that kept disappearing. The world around him didn't help. Bills piled up, friends succeeded, family whispered behind closed doors. And Adam began to believe the most dangerous lie anyone can believe. Maybe I'm not meant for more. One night, after another rejection email, Adam sat alone in his small, dim room. He stared at the cracked wall in front of him and felt something inside him break. Not in anger, but in truth. He realized something powerful. No one was coming to save him. Not his parents, not his boss, not luck, not the universe. If his life was going to change, it had to start with him. So he grabbed a notebook and wrote 3 words that would later shape his entire future. I'm not done. Not yet. Not like this. Not in this chapter. That night wasn't a moment of motivation, it was a moment of honesty. And honesty is stronger than motivation. Adam didn't start by chasing big dreams. He started small. He woke up 10 minutes earlier, then 20, then an hour. He applied for jobs he didn't think he'd get. He read a book instead of scrolling. He learned one skill instead of wishing he had many. And for the first time in years, he felt progress. It wasn't fast. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't perfect. But it was movement. Forward. And forward is all anyone needs. Of course, it wasn't easy. There were days when Adam fell back into old habits. Days he skipped the work. Days he felt like he wasn't improving at all. Days when doubt wrapped around his chest like a rope. But there was one difference now. He didn't quit. He learned to master the voice inside that told him to stop. He learned something that successful people know. Success doesn't come from always being strong. It comes from showing up even when you feel weak. Every day he showed up, even a little, the rope loosened. And life, slowly, began to open. Months passed. Adam got a job that wasn't perfect, but it was a start. He learned a skill that paid better than anything he had done before. He started freelancing on weekends. Clients came, then more. His confidence grew, not because he became successful, but because he kept promises to himself. The same people who doubted him started asking him for advice. The same friends who outpaced him now slowed down to watch him rise. His family spoke differently about him, but most importantly, Adam spoke differently to himself. The man who once believed he was not meant for more now understood a deeper truth. Life doesn't give you what you're meant for, it gives you what you fight for. 2 years after that night in the small room, Adam launched his own online business. Nothing huge, not $1 million company, not a fairy tale, but a real, stable, growing business he built with his own hands. The same man who once couldn't pay his bills now paid his mother's. The same man who once felt behind now inspired others to begin. And the same man who once wrote, "I'm not done," now wrote a new line on the last page of his notebook. This is only the beginning. Adam's story isn't exceptional. That's why it's powerful. Because he didn't win the lottery. He didn't get lucky. He didn't wait for the right moment. He simply made a choice. To stop being the person life was happening to and become the person life would happen because of. His transformation began the moment he believed this: small steps repeated with discipline create extraordinary lives. Not talent, not connections, not perfection. Just small steps taken every day, especially on the days you don't feel like it. So if you're watching this, listen closely. You're not behind. You're not too late. You're not done. All you need is the courage to start and the discipline to continue. Your story isn't over. In fact, your greatest chapter is still unwritten. And it's waiting for you.